that is in here right now. Shout out to everybody around the world that is tapped in. We are going to get into this content right now of Alex Pereira getting punked by Ankalaev at the PI Center. By the way, using translators on top of it. We're going to start that in exactly 3 minutes from now. Okay, just a little bit of intro to what is going on right now. Wanted to give you guys a bit of a briefing. The other topic that we're going to talk about is Gervonta Tank Davis, who, by the way, is retiring after the Jake Paul fight. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that after the Jake Paul fight? Now, why is that significant? Well, I could tell you for multitudes of reasons. Number one, this is just a normal trajectory that most fighters will do. Raise Against. Shout out to you, my man. Shout out to you, Raise Against. Can you hear me all right, my man? Shout out to you. We're going to go for a little bit of a California drive right now. Let me turn on the video right now, show you guys exactly where I'm at. All right, so here we go. Live. There's your face right here. Right here, my man. So I'm going to have my face on and off just a little bit because this is the thing, right? I want to live stream this, but I also have other things to do in private. So I'm going to try and create a balance between that, right? So, yo, who you got, Poatan or Ankalaev? I'm going with Ankalaev. We saw what happened the first time, right? Alex Pereira looked hesitant. Everything that Ankalaev was doing was to shut down the game of Ankalaev. His whole entire plan was to shut him down every single time, and he did exactly that. So I don't see how this is going to be any different. Okay, good take. All right, man, shout out to you. Also, Tank Davis, retiring after the Jake Paul fight. Look, many of your favorite fighters are sort of in this trajectory where they continue on until they lose. Canelo is a great example of that. BJ Penn was a great example of that. Anderson Silva was a great example of that. George St. Pierre is not a great example of that. Floyd Mayweather is not a great example of that because unlike Tank Davis, Floyd Mayweather is not going to fight anybody bigger than him that's going to be a problem, especially if there's skills involved. Now, you could say that his brother fought Floyd Mayweather. Okay, well, guess what? Logan Paul is not Jake Paul, and I think we understand that in the boxing terms, right? What is the topic of discussion today? Renegade Brand, remember me, he said. Please give me a little bit of a synopsis of who you are. I've seen a few names here with the name Renegade, so yeah, you're going to have to elaborate a little bit so I can get a clear understanding. But on either regard, the topic of today is Ankalaev getting punked. Ankalaev punking Alex Pereira. That's the one topic. The other topic is Gervonta Tank Davis retiring and possibly going out on a loss because of the fact that he's going to fight the great Jake Paul. Okay? And I think that is going to really tarnish his career. But here's the crazy thing about it. As much as that is going to tarnish his career, Tank Davis doesn't care what you think. Renegade Brand says, we talked about Raja and honor culture a while back. Oh, okay, yes. So, yeah, it was one of those live streams where, 1,000 people were in here at a time, so... okay, I do remember you now. Yes. Okay, so glad that you are back on this one where, I mean, quite frankly, the projection of numbers that I'm going to have on this one is not going to be that of Charlie Kirk or the Roger Jackson video and live streams that I did, right? So I'm glad that you are here, so that's good. If you have any comments or questions regarding a particular topic, you can absolutely ask away, and definitely with the rate of chats that are going right now, I'm probably not going to miss it because we have just the right amount of people in here. So yes, welcome Renegade Brand, and let me know what part of the world you are from, and let's continue on with this topic, okay? We're going to discuss other, actually, we're going to discuss just the main event of UFC 320, right? During the week, look out for me during the week, because I will do a full card breakdown. I don't know if I'm going to do that on a video or maybe do that on a live stream. Maybe a live stream, because it will probably get a whole lot more views than I would on a video. The videos seem to come a little bit slower when it comes to views, but when it comes to live streams, man, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I have a vertical leap, a vertical camera angle, to where people are sort of taking it from the short feed views, and being that people have short attention spans, they scale up and down, and then they run across this, and then they think, all right, you know what, let's stay for a bit and see what this is about. But I do have the thumbnails up one right now, and it was MMA Joey that sort of brought this to my attention first. So if the thumbnail looks a little bit familiar, it is because, well, it's the inspiration from the MMA Joey video, which, by the way, I have not yet seen, and I did that with a purpose. Okay, now the reason why I wanted to do that with a purpose is because I want to be able to break this down without having any outside influences from other MMA content creators. So this is my take on the particular topic of Alex Pereira and Ankalaev, right? Most people say they are about that life, but in reality, many people lie. And I know this for a fact because I've been in situations, I've been in road rage situations where somebody would flip me off for whatever mishaps I may have committed or whatever mishaps they may have committed on the road. And as a result, they decided they wanted to go and do something about it. And then given the opportunity and the chance to do so, they end up backing out from the situation for one reason or another. Okay, because let's face it, the majority of people are cowards. That also includes professional fighters. There's a lot of professional fighters out there that are not about that life to any capacity whatsoever, right? Just like rappers. There's a lot of rappers out there that talk a good game in their rap lyrics, in their interviews, in the content that they create. But in reality, when it comes to really getting down on some gangster stuff, a lot of them back down. And I could name several examples of that in the rap world, and not only that, in the fight world as well. So here's the example of the fight world, obviously, with Alex Pereira getting punked by Ankalaev. Ankalaev, you have to understand, comes from a country of war, which is Chechnya. Everybody knows this. They've been fighting the Russians for a very long time. These are not guys that are scared to get down at any time beyond sports competition. Renegade Brand says, Pereira Ankalaev is a 50-50 to me. For me, you won't find me betting anything on it. Yes. I absolutely have to agree with you on that, right? Yeah, we definitely can't. Even though I'm an Ankalaev supporter, we can't sleep on Alex Pereira. Really, right? So 50-50. Victor says, do you know about the Peacemaker DC comics? No, I don't know about that. Elaborate for me a little bit. Give me an elaboration on that particular topic, so I'm better equipped at understanding what it is that you're trying to convey with this. So yeah, please give me a little bit more context to the situation if you can, please. Okay, so John Cena versus, what is this? John Cena in the TV show? I don't understand what you mean by that. Explain what you mean by that. John Cena TV show from... Oh, okay. Got it. Got the Peacemaker. Okay, I remember now. I remember. Because John Cena wore costumes of a superhero. Okay, I remember that. What about it? I know that John Cena right now is on the verge of retirement. I believe that it was his last WrestleMania that he wrestled at not too long ago. And at the same time, also, I believe that his expiration retirement date is going to be on... when is that going to be? I believe that is going to be on... When is that going to be? I believe that's going to be on December. Okay. one got out a black hole. Here's a reference from his new episode. One got out of a black hole. Don't worry, I'm not okay. Yeah, I still don't understand what the context is. I don't know if you're trying to just give recognition to the show or giving reference to the show, and if so, on what reason. But yeah, on any regard, yeah, keep commenting so I can, further understand what you mean. Okay, no problem, homie. Bye for now. Okay, shout out to Victor. Shout out to you, my man. Okay, so now we're gonna go back and forth a little bit with the Ankalaev and Alex Pereira at the same time. Okay, so just please forgive me if I jump around on the topics a little bit. Okay, so okay, Gervonta Tank Davis, right? Most of your favorite fighters continue to stay until they get beat, right? Now, Gervonta Davis's whole entire motivation for this one is entirely legacy based, right? That is their whole entire motivation, is legacy based, at least for some fighters. Now, is Tank a legacy based fighter, really? In reality, no, he's not. The only thing that Tank is interested in is, how do I say this? The only thing that he's interested in is money. And that's entirely what he's going to get out of this. Renegade Brand asked me, okay, I'm trying to understand what is the significance of that particular question. But what I will do right now, I don't want to show where I'm going to be going right now, but I will get off the video right now. I'm going to keep this on audio for just a second as we get this on and cracking right now. So. Okay, so don't worry, guys. I'm still on, just having to handle or trying to drop something off real quick. So if you guys can bear with me for just a second, okay? It was shaky as F. Okay, as it was shaky as F. Scene. Okay. So you're saying that it was shaky. Okay, I think that's what you were referring to, the fact that it was, really shaky. The camera is what you're kind of describing. Okay, I got it now. Okay, no problem. By the way, Renegade, let me know what part of the world you are from, brother. Let me know what part of the world you are from. Okay, so Asia. Okay, what country specifically? I'm going to try and make a guess, okay? Either the Philippines or Indonesia. Would that be right? Would I be accurate in that particular assessment? Would it be Asia or in Asia? Okay, would it be Indonesia or the Philippines? Let me know on that one. Close. Okay. Is it Thailand? Right? I'm trying to name countries that have, what do you call it, significance to mixed martial arts. Is it that? Let me know. Okay, so you say it's not Thailand. So would it be Myanmar by any chance? Would it be close to a place like that by any chance? Let me know. Closer. Okay. Laos. Would it be Laos? Dolzer says, China. Is that accurate? Is it China? I mean, to be honest with you, your English is quite good. It's not to say that, that they don't have good English in that part of the world. It's just that, well, okay, take for example, right, in the Philippines, if anybody wanted to learn English in Asia, like the Koreans and the Japanese, they will go to the Philippines to actually learn English there. He says, just so you know, I'm not going to say it if I'm guessing. Okay, no, that's completely understandable. Trying to remain anonymous and whatnot. Yeah, I respect it. I understand. But you know what? That's how the internet is in a nutshell, right? People are sort of anonymous until, for as much as they are willing to disclose. Hold on a second. Okay, so hot. Okay, Renegade Brand says hot. Okay, Dolzer says, oh, come on, man. Dolzer says, Mongolia it is. Laughing my ass off. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to assume maybe the Philippines, only because, well, look, just by the process of elimination alone, right? And by the way, I'm kind of glad that you're not mentioning it, right? Because it kind of gives me this, good guessing game, right? Sort of try to create a process of elimination, trying to understand, let's see, let's say your particular articulation, maybe words of choices that you may have, or maybe certain specific influences, because, look, I'll tell you this, right? Like, for example, in Vietnam, right? What a lot of people don't know about the history of Vietnam is that they have a lot of, French colonization, behind them. So, there's a lot of French influence and a lot of French derivatives that sort of come from, that culture, right? So, for example, if you meet a Vietnamese person, right, they're going to have very similar types of food styles that, let's say, the French would, okay? So, for example, the French, they like to eat beef. They like to eat a lot of beef with soup, okay? So what is the overall influence behind that? Okay, well, you ever heard of pho soup? Obviously, pho soup is very big with the Vietnamese, right? So Josh says, you going for Magomed, no Shama Ankalaev? Khabib, are you calling me Khabib? Well, all right, if you're calling me Khabib, then you obviously know who I'm going to go for, right? I mean, it is absolutely no mistake of who it is that I'm going to go for. So, okay. There is a hint. You're being very vague, Renegade. It's tropical. Okay, so when you say it's tropical, then I'm going to say Malaysia, right? Would Malaysia be a good guess on that, right? Am I getting hot there? But in any regard, we'll get to that. We'll get to where in the world is Renegade from later on. We will absolutely get to that subject in a matter of minutes. Okay, so Renegade says it's a tropical place, although I come from relatively a dry part of it. A tropical place, and you come from a dry part of it. A tropical place. So what is a tropical place that has dry places? Okay, Mongolia is obviously a part of that. Thailand is a part of that. Dry place. And when you mean dry, what exactly do you mean by dry? Right? Because, for example, Arizona is right? Because of the humidity that it possesses. So Dolzer says Japan, Indonesia. Philippines is tropical. Okay, so you live in the Philippines or a neighboring country to the Philippines. Malaysia, Singapore could be also part of that. What else? What else is an MMA-centric nation? Desert is dry. Desert is dry. Okay, so a place that has a desert in Asia. When you mean Asia, does that also include Pakistan? Because you know what? I'll tell you what is funny about Pakistan, right? Or not, I mean, they consider them Asians, right? Especially in the UK. And this is very unusual. Somebody who comes from California, who's been around Asians, and by Asians, in my own cultural interpretation, that is of Filipino, Chinese, Vietnamese, Japanese, Korean, and things of that nature. Japan is cold. Indonesia is hot too. Okay. All right. Well, on any regard, man, just be ready to tell us when you're ready to tell us. But on any regard, I'm going to let the chat continue on with their guesses. So, okay, let's go back to Gervonta Tank Davis, right? Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't care what any of you think. And I know that's going to sound and come as a surprise, right? That he doesn't care about what any of you think. And the truth is he doesn't. All he cares about is money, okay? There's money involved in this whole entire thing, and that money involved is Jake Paul money, okay? Meaning that he's not motivated to come back and fight Roach. He's not motivated to come back and fight anybody. Not Shakur Stevenson, which could cause him some serious problems. He fought Ryan Garcia. That was the biggest name in his resume. And anything else after that is worthless for him. You know what I mean? It is worthless for him to fight anybody else because, look, what is the main purpose of going into combat sports? Does anyone know? The main purpose of going into combat sports is to make money. Okay, so, Renegade says, Europeans are geographically more literate than Americans, I take it. I would say so. I would say so, yeah. I would say so. I can't deny, yeah, I can't deny that at all. I can't deny that at all. That is true. Okay, hold on, let's try to make a turn right here. There's some tie letters right here. Tank is retired from professional boxing today. Okay. Renegade says no. Renegade Brand says is German for what? Josh says is a very Filipino response to a question. Truth Seeker, shout outs to you, my man. Or German, Renegade Brand says what is in reference to the Germans you are talking about there, Renegade Brand. Shout out to Truth Seeker, man. I hope you're doing great. I hope you are somewhere enjoying the content that we are doing right now, because I always try to bring the best content possible as much as I can. So here it is. Here's another thing, right? Do you guys notice on the MMA Joey thumbnail of the reaction to Ankalaev and Pereira, right? He says that it's a little bit of a cocky behavior for he did standing and just sitting there looking like completely disinterested in somebody trying to disrespect him or confront him. Well, I tell you what, those choices of words I would have to agree with on several reasons. Okay, the reason why I agree with that is because look, Ankalaev and his behavior, look at the way that he goes about making content with Nina Drama. And I don't even want to repeat the ridiculousness that they did. I mean, look, man, I'm so disgusted by Alex Pereira's content that he does with Nina Drama, simply because This is not on brand with Alex Pereira. Everybody tries to make Alex Pereira look like this guy who's stoic. Oh my God, he's so stoic. He doesn't say anything. His face is like this all the time. Oh, look at me. I'm Alex Pereira. My face is hard all the time. And I only look like that because I have no personality. And so I try to play it off as if market that as this stoic Brazilian monster. What do you do to this stoic Brazilian monster by putting him in there with Nina Drama and doing all these stupid Craig Jones type of videos that he does? I understand if this was Craig Jones. I understand if this was Peyton Talbot. I even understand if this was Jason Mayhem Miller. This is all on brand with how they are and who they are and what they do. But with Alex Pereira, you are ruining his stoic personality. Now, we're supposed to have a matchup with a guy like Ankalaev, who is also a stoic Chad, a stoic Muslim Chad, like Alex Pereira. And now it's basically, it's not a stoic man versus stoic man matchup. It's stoic man in Ankalaev and goofy man in Alex Pereira, and that's the reality of it. Dolzer says, I am an American of European descent, born and raised. Okay, so in other words, you are a white man. Okay. Renegade says, what car are you driving? I can't necessarily tell you what car I'm driving, only because I don't want to get picked out in public. You know what I mean? So Renegade says, my condolences, just kidding. Josh says, what was the content with Nina Drama? Like where and what cuddled him in front of his boyfriend? I mean, that's one of the many things right there. Yeah, that I would say, my man. Yeah, that's one of those things I would have to say. Yes, that is one thing. What is this? Okay. Looks like, what is this truck doing right here? Okay, looks like he's making a U-turn of some sort. Okay. All right. Okay, so, thanks, but unnecessary. I'm proud of my heritage. Hey, man, listen, I got love for anybody that's proud of their heritage. I'm certainly proud of my heritage as well, and who am I to tell somebody they're not allowed to be proud of their heritage, right? I was responding to Renegade. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Imagine how much money that girl's off would pull. I'd invest in it if she's shares or earnings. That's the thing that would be massive. Renegade says, if it wasn't for your heritage, it was about born and raised part. Okay, got it. Dozer says, either way, I'm still proud. Renegade Brand says, reminds me of that Florida illegal driver accident. Oh, in reference to what exactly? Fresh Melon Juice says, humans are nothing in the grand scheme of things. Renegade Brand says, yes, I am just fooling around. So, listen, man, I understand there's some guys out there that are goofy, naturally goofy. That's just how they are, right? Derek Lewis, okay, as tough and as scary of a human being as Derek Lewis is, let's be real about this, right? This is also on brand for him to do. He's a silly guy. It's what he does. My balls is hot, this and that. And anything that he does, people laugh at. But if you're Alex Pereira, this is not on brand for you. This is not what I want for you as Alex Pereira. And the only reason why the UFC puts Nina Drama in front of Alex Pereira every time is for the simple fact that they think that they need to enhance Alex Pereira even more. When Dana White even mentioned himself something to the effect of alluding that, hey, you know what? People say that Alex Pereira doesn't have a personality. Well, his stoic and his presence is his personality. And Dana White is right about that. Dana White is also the type of person that likes things plain, that likes things just bland, right? Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing extraordinary, and certainly nothing extravagant. In other words, he doesn't like stadium fights, pyrotechnics, and any of that, right? He doesn't want any of the extra stuff. He just wants the music, the entrance, and that's it. right? So that's sort of on brand for Dana White to say that about Alex Pereira. Well, now you got Disney involved. And yes, they like the fact that Dana White likes to keep everything playing right down to the walkout entrance, right? They like that. But they also understand that they could probably make more money out of Alex Pereira if they put him in precarious situations. Situations that quite honestly makes him look gay. Truth Seeker says Nina and her push-up bras. I'll be right back. 2 minutes. Speaking of, yeah, Derek Lewis took an effing piss. I can't. Kyrie, do you have dyslexia? No, I don't understand. What kind of question is that? What kind of question is it? What brought that up? Dyslexia. I don't understand what brought that up. Was it something that I said that made you bring that? I don't know, man, but I don't know what to say to that, Ja. I mean, that's kind of a weird question to ask. Also, probably very offensive to people that actually have these underlying conditions, what you say. But on any regard, look, guys, it's UFC 320 fight week. Who do you guys have for the main event? I got Ankalaev. I don't think that it's going to change either way. I think that this entire fight is exactly how it's going to be from the first time out, and the second time around, it's going to be the same. I don't see any difference whatsoever. It's all going to be the same, in my humble opinion. So, we shall see. Okay, Dozer says, peace everyone, I'm out. Shout out to you, my man. Thank you for tapping in. Also, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also let your friends know as well. Tell a friend to be a friend. Not Kyrie. You know I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to disrespect. Okay, you know, I'm just trying to understand what, well, okay. I know you're saying that in good faith. What made you say that? If anything, bro, whatever it is that you're noticing, maybe a pattern of speech or whatever, or this and that, who knows, maybe I have CTE, but that's as far as I know. Dyslexia, never. I've never written or, you know, or anything to indicate that at all. So, off the camera for a second. So, yeah, man, but either way, you know, I love you regardless, you know what I mean? So, shout out to you on that. But, all right. So, listen. Now, one. Who gets the worst loss out of them two? Would you say that Tank Davis? Okay, sorry about that. Had cut off a bit of some internet connections there. Okay, streaming is bugging, by the way. Okay, got it. Go do your homework, Fresh. Misinterpreting history. Josh says to Fresh out here trying to stir up ish. Fresh Melon Juice says, Ja, do you think that's okay? In reference to who exactly? In reference to who exactly do you mean? Okay, so, all right. I'm gonna hop right back on camera in just a second here. So bear with me. Okay, so all right, is the streaming on right now? Let me know, guys. Let me know if it's on right now. So okay. Back. Okay. Are you saying you're back, or are you saying the stream is back? Let me know what you meant by that right there. All right. So I'm gonna come right back into the studio right now. So here we go, guys. Back in the studio. All right, guys, so from the car and into the studio, there we are. So, okay. Oh, you meant you. Okay, okay, good. Well, we're all back then in that case. Okay, so we're back on the office. We're back online. And all right, man. So we got about 144 people around the world that's tapped in to this one. All right, so we'll go for about a full hour, and then I'll call it a day on this one. You know what? Let's go see that video now that we're here. If Merab loses, it's going to be the biggest upset of the year. You know what? I'm going to push back on that, Renegade. I'm going to say no. The reason why I don't think that it's going to be the biggest upset of the year is because Corey Sandhagen is very underrated. He can beat anybody at any given time. Okay, so the idea that he's the idea that it's going to be the biggest upset, I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. Although that is because of the fact that we sort of market Merab as this unstoppable force, right? So I can see why. But in hindsight, a lot of people looked at the Mike Tyson and Douglas as the biggest upset ever. You want to know why? Well, first off, let me tell you why Douglas and Mike Tyson is not the biggest upset ever. Look at the Lennox Lewis fight. What does Mike Tyson have a problem with? He has a problem with taller guys that can box, right? So in hindsight, it didn't look like the biggest upset ever. It looks like the biggest upset for that time, being that we think Merab is on another level, as Renegade had said here. Okay, very true. All right, so before we get out of here, I just wanted to, come in here and do this for about a good hour or so. I wanted to see this video of Alex Pereira and Ankalaev. Okay, Pantoja is losing unfathomable. Pantoja losing is unfathomable. Okay, man, you got quite an obsession with homeboy here, Pantoja. Okay. Alex. Okay, right here.
Mentioning the teacher, He sat here and now he's the one talking.
Okay, here we go.
He doesn't understand English. The coach understands English. Is there anyone who speaks English? Sexia, I was the one who said that I gave you problems. Difference for me anytime.
A good night to you, Renegade Brand. Fino Pereira's coach is gigantic human being. Truth Seeker says, boy, I was wrong about the Reyes fight. Fresh Melendrew says, Reyes walked into a left hook like a moron. Josh says, like Ankalaev stirring ish up in front of these two is a wild confidence. Oh, how about that? Okay, I didn't even know that Glover Teixeira was there. Okay, Josh says, like Ankalaev. Okay, Truth Seeker says, yeah, you said he needed to avoid that, Fresh. Yeah, you know what, man? Truth, man. You and I, Marty, yeah, we were definitely wrong about the Reyes fight. Because, look, the reason why you and I are wrong about that fight is because we wanted a sensationalized story to come about of that. That's really what it is.
Professionals, I respect you. But on October 4th, I'm going to hit you. I'm going to hit you in the face with an open hand.
He says, I'm going to hit you over the face with an open hand, meaning he's saying that he's going to Stockton slap him. Josh says, yeah, Glover walked in and was like a Brazilian combat squad in there, and Ankalaev was cool as a cucumber. Right. Well, here's the thing, right? I think that Ankalaev, okay, so let me preface this a little bit, right? Let's understand. Ankalaev also knows that these guys are not going to jump him because he's money to them, right? You beat up Ankalaev, you jump him in front of everybody, and you get no money because he'll get injured in the process, right? So we got about 8 minutes into this live stream, guys. Ask any question you want on this particular matter as we react to this video once again.
Give it to the ring. Can we go to the words? Let's go.
Shama, he says, no Shama. He says, let's go. He says, yeah, plus most of these guys seem to have self-control. There you go. Yeah, man, that's the beauty about mixed martial arts, right? Even though we look like we have a lot of unhinged people that are part of the game, there's also a lot of people that are very disciplined and very well-mannered, to say the least, okay? So, yeah.
Like mentioning the teacher.
John says it's not like running up on Jorge Masvidal. That's true. That's true. Even Masvidal has self-control himself, unless, of course, you talk about his kids in the way that Colby did, and then he'll come after you in a very devastating way.
You know, he sat here and now he's the one talking. He doesn't understand English. The coach understands English.
Look, how funny. Behind, do you guys notice behind there was a pig? I don't know if you guys had noticed that. You know what? Let's take a look at a different angle. He says, or if you interrupt him in interview, Fresh Melon Juice says, and a lot of snakes in the grass. Yes. Okay, so I think we get the point of the video, right? Josh says Masvidal pieced up Leon for interrupting him. No, I don't think it was so much about interruption. It was more like really trying to pull his punk card more than anything. I think that was the prime motivation right there, was literally trying to punk him. Yeah, that's literally what he was trying to do. He was trying to punk him and all of that, right? That was his main objective, was trying to punk him. And he says, that's pretty low self-control to me. Yeah, I would say so. But at the same time, one can argue that he felt pretty threatened by the situation, right? So, all right, guys, we got about less than 5 minutes now. I want to recap about everything that we talked about. You guys asked questions, anything regarding this particular topic. So obviously today the topic was Magomed confronting Alex Pereira at the PI Center on UFC 320 Fight Week. Now, is this good? Great for promotion. It had everybody talking about it. Everyone was talking about it, from MMA Joey all the way to MMA Guru, all the usual suspects in the MMA content creator space, right? It gives it a good buzz, gives it a good promotion, being that it's a rematch. The first time around was very decisive, right? You need this type of promotion in order to convince people, all right, there's something new going on here. Fighting and technique-wise, there is nothing new going on with this, right? But, okay, Truth Seeker says, I think Alex is going to get it done this time. Okay, there you go, right? There are people out there that believe that. Me, I'm not one of those people that believes that. You could call it biasness. You could call it the fact that, all right, you know what? He's a Muslim guy. Alex is not so much of a Muslim guy, although he was a Muslim convert. And by the way, I made a video on that, by the way, right, where I talk about how Alex Pereira is basically a people pleaser and why he's not, you know, the type of Muslim that Ankalaev, Kamzat, or Khabib are. Right? Josh says, yeah, I just like Alex Styles better. Well, there you go. He does have a more exciting style, but it doesn't mean that it's the end-all, be-all, okay? Truth Seeker says, Alex was injured and said he was very sick last time. Okay. Josh says, I wouldn't bet on Alex, but he's exciting. That's what it is, right? So it's not about who's the most exciting guy. It's about the style that works. And from what Ankalaev had displayed last time, all the clinching that he had done, all the outstriking that he's done even to Alex Pereira, I don't see how this is going to be any different. Now, the other recap that we're going to talk about is the second subject of this live stream. Tank Davis will retire and will go out on a loss against Jake Paul. Guys, I got to tell you, Jake Paul is way bigger than Tank Davis. Way bigger. Okay? Size matters to a point, but if a guy is skilled enough and he has the size, it's going to be a very dangerous outing for Tank Davis. Josh says, I mean, if I was going to bet, I would bet on Ankalaev. That seems to be the safe bet. Josh says, it's not useless. It's not likely. It's likely not unless Alex catches him. Okay, so there you go. That's what it is with Alex. He has a puncher's chance. But skills pays the bills. And when it comes to skills paying the bills, a puncher's chance becomes a much more lower percentage to happen in a fight. And with that in mind, guys, that is my final minute on this one. Anything else that you guys would like to mention before I leave out of here? Just wanted to do this for a quick hour and get this in because it's a subject that I really wanted to talk about. Mark Haynes says, love from the Bay 5110. Shout out to you, my man. Shout out to you, Mark Haney. All right, man. Mark Haney. Let's see here. I'll have a good day, my man. Josh says, yeah, takedowns are higher percentage than knockouts. So there you go, right? When there's a higher percentage of that going on, that's literally what you're going to expect out of this fight. Okay, so looks like we got about more people coming in here. I may have to just stay a little bit longer, even though, yeah, I thought I was going to, you know, leave. Let's see here. Man, it's funny how people think they're going to, like, you know, get my attention by, you know, speaking negatively. That's not how you get my attention, by the way. So say one more thing and I'm going to... he says, hey, I'm glad that Raja Fool went down for this BS. Good job on Crawford for taking Canelo's footwork. And Reyes, man, that was sad. That's what I'm talking about. Russian newsman. You know what? Let's do a Russian newsman thing, a little Russian newsman bid before I head up out of here, okay? So, Russian newsman. Yes, Russian newsman. Hold on. Let me see. Tank Davis. I'm going to read an article, and I'm going to do Russian newsman. Tank Davis. Retired. Okay, so let's see here. Josh says, Casper, we aren't your parents. We can surrogate your thirst to be seen. That's what I'm saying, man. Hey, you know what? Do me a favor, my man. Make another account and come back here and talk again so you can basically increase my views. All right, let me read the Sports Illustrated article. Gervonta Davis reveals definitive retirement date ahead of Jake Paul fight. Gervonta Davis could be out of boxing for good in the very near future. Reigning WBA lightweight champion Gervonta "Tank" Davis has made his opinions about his boxing career extremely clear over the past 12 or so months. During press conference for his March 1 fight against Lamont Roach Jr. at the end of 2024, said to reporters, "After next year, I am out. Yeah, out of this sport." Ish trash, Davis added to boxing. "This is trash, garbage, fed up. I am fed up with the whole ish. I want to be able to make money and stay out the way, that's it. I want to be living without being seen." Many felt like this was just Gervonta going through a phase of burnt out that would ultimately pass. But after Tank produced one of the poorest performances in professional career against Roach on March 1st, which ended in majority draw that many believe Gervonta deserved to lose, most believe that the lackluster showing would spark fire from the undefeated 30-year-old. Since then, Gervonta had to deal with legal issues that have some since cleared up, which seemed to take attention away from the sweet science for the time. Then it was announced that he was going to fight Jake Paul in the exhibition bout of November 14th. Gervonta Davis plans to retire after Jake Paul fight. Given that Tank is back preparing for fight, this might be made some feel these thoughts about retirement are in the rear view, but it is clearly not the case as conveyed in September 26 post from him. And it says, Gervonta initially posted, "Boxing definitely did a turn. It went from side to side and this shit was no loyalty. So why would I care? I move accordingly. Boxing is unalived." All right, so let's read some of these comments right here. Mark Haynes says, Tank Davis versus Logan Paul is a pinch peso circus fight, and it's equally, if not more pathetic than Tyson and Mayweather faking a fight. Oh yeah, that fight is definitely going to be fake because it's exhibition. Josh says, Lamont smoked Tank, by the way. Haney says, hey, with the beard, and except you could pass for members of Khabib's camp. I get that all the time, my man, and I hope that earns your subscription alone, because how many content creators do you know look like they would be in Khabib's camp, right? Certainly not MMA Guru. They would jump him in these Dagestani camps. Mark says, that's what he's going for, Mark. Afternoon says, hey, bud. Hey, Afternoon, shout out to you, my man. Josh says, honestly, I am not mad that Gervonta takes an L from Jake because he deserved an L after he bailed out on a Roach fight. There you go, right? Sort of like a retribution going on. Fresh Melon Juice says, great, man. Russian newsman is the best. Thank you, thank you. Josh says, darts, pretty much. Mark Haney says, point taken, subscribe, can't argue with the logic. Shout out to you. MMA Guru looks like he's in Roy Nelson's camp. You said Toy Nelson. I think you meant Roy Nelson. Pork Chop says, Pudzianowski versus Jake in MMA. Wow, that would actually be a 50-50 fight if you think about it. Right? If you think about it, that would easily be a 50-50 fight between them. Right? Yeah, that would absolutely be a 50-50 fight for sure. So, all right, let's see. What else? What else do we have right here? Okay, let's go over some of the cards. I'm not going to go through a prediction or preview right now. I just wanted to kind of, skim through the cards a little bit. Eddie Hall versus Jake. Yeah, the same. It would be a 50-50 fight as well, because Jake is a real legitimate combat athlete who actually has had wrestling experience, right? So, okay, let's see here. UFC 320 Tapology. Yeah, Eddie would unalive Jake, Afternoon says. Man, it's hard to disagree with that, right? I doubt it. Jake would get it done on Eddie. Mark Haynes says, you know what would be crazy if there would be CJ3 with Logan Paul and the older brother grappling. Okay, so you'd want to see Jake Paul and Logan Paul grapple with each other pretty much, okay? So, all right, the first fight of the night is going to be Veronica Hardy versus Brogan Walker. And then it's going to be followed up by Austin Vanderfort. How about that, okay? Ramiz Abramovich. Is Austin Vanderfort still with Paige Van Sant? Pork Chop says, I'd have to bet on Eddie if it went against Jake. With Poods being older, I think it'd be more fair, but I'd love to see 5 times smashing Paul to the ground. Okay, Truth Seeker says, I thought CG was kind of lame this year. Okay, there's levels to this. Eddie is losing. Eddie is too strong, he says. Fresh Melon Juice says. Okay, so Soriano taking on Vertinkov. Patchy Mix, how about this? All right, man, we got Patchy Mix still in the mix, taking on Jacob W. Maisie Chazon taking on Yana Santos, previously known as Yana Kunskaya. Obviously, Santos being that it's her married name to UFC light heavyweight Thiago Santos, former title challenger against John Jones. Arguably gave John Jones one of his hardest fight as well. Another Santos, Daniel Santos, takes on Ju Sang Yu. Farid Bassarat taking on Gutierrez. How about this? Edmund Shabazian taking on Andre Muniz, which I believe this is a 185 fight. Ozzy Diaz taking on Gautier. All right, how about this? Joe Pfeiffer taking on Abus Magomedov. That's a good and interesting fight. I got some videos on Joe Pfeiffer. Josh Emmett taking on Yusuf Zalal. That's a very good 145 fight. Jiri Prochazka taking on Khalil Roundtree. I believe Yuri just recently graduated from college. I believe he took some time off to get some classes done. And then the co-main event of the evening, Marab Davanshili taking on Corey Sandhagen. Going to be a very tough 135 fight. And obviously the main event, the subject matter of which this live stream is about. 14 fights total for this one. Hopefully none of it gets canceled, right? Usually when you have this many fights, some fights get canceled for one reason or another. Jones would smoke Jake. Pork Chop in the afternoon says, you think Jake would beat Eddie Jaw? Okay, that's a question for Jaw. Afternoon says, Craig Jones versus Jake in MMA. I've heard the Ukrainian boxer challenge Paul in MMA, but I'm not sure if that will really happen. It makes sense to do that in MMA, right? Jake has a wrestling background. Usyk has a wrestling background. Usyk does not want to tarnish his boxing legacy, so he would rather fight Jake Paul in an unlimited fashion outside of boxing, which is that of MMA. Okay? Josh says, as much as I love Eddie, skills beat bulk 70% of the time in the heavyweight division. CJI 1 was awesome. LOL, CGI 2 wasn't the same energy. Afternoon says, Wazim being world's strongest man. WSM being the world's strongest man. Okay. I thought CGI was... Okay. So, I mean, if Jake did fight Eddie, I guess they couldn't harp on him fighting little guys anymore. There you go. Josh says, I think Jake would sit on the jab circle and punish him if he tried to get close to distance. He'd be a punching bag. Very true. I definitely can see that. I can definitely see that same trajectory. All right, so just a couple more minutes, guys. I'm probably going to get out of here in a couple of minutes. I just wanted to sort of get this right up there with, yeah, so if I had to bet, I think Eddie would drop him Butterbean style. Okay, Bug says, scrotum. Okay, I don't know what you mean by that, but on any regard, everybody around the world, thank you for tapping in. 30% of the time, I agree with you, afternoon. Okay, so he's saying he agrees with afternoon 30% of the time. Okay, very interesting percentage that you mentioned on that one. All right, guys, listen. Shout out to all of you. Thank you for tapping in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for all those that have subscribed. Let me give some shout outs here. Shout outs to Bug. Shout outs to Ja. Shout outs to Mark Haney. Is that how I pronounce it? Shout out to Marty Miller, Truth Seeker, Fresh Melon Juice. Shout out to Ja again. Shout outs to Afternoon. Shout outs to Renegade Brand. Shout outs to Renegade Brand. Shout out to Dole Lezer, the proud European American. And who else? Victor. Shout out to Victor. Shout out to Combat YZ. Shout out to Raise Against. Shout out to everybody around the world that is tapped in, my man. Thank you so much. 07 Kyrie. Yup. Zero Value Life. I'm speaking even though I have nothing to say. Well, thank you, man. Shout out to Zero Value Life. I hope that you do subscribe just for me reading your comments alone. And with that, I will see you guys next time, inshallah. Fresh melon juice. All right. A very common thing that I say here. I say, you know what? I mention you a lot on my videos now simply because I usually take excerpts of the live stream and then put it on video form, and you'll usually hear me say fresh melon juice, fresh melon juice. And with that in mind, for real, fresh melon juice. Shout out to everybody and everybody around the world. I'll see you in the next one, inshallah.